Hey all, it's Matt, your average gamer, and this is a little bit of an extra video on my alternate channel for the Hand of Malenia, a build request that has been pretty much around a lot lately. The last build I did for this weapon was probably about a year ago. But I do pay attention to comments, and I saw a lot of comments asking about this weapon, a build for it. I know people really like this in PvP. It can be pretty good for PvE as well. We're going to get into the details on the weapon and a Rune Level 150 optimized build. I tested this on regular enemies, tougher enemies, even the mini respawning dragons in Caelid, and then we took on a boss at the end of the video with the build, buffs, and everything you need to know for it. First things first, it does build on successive attacks, however, it doesn't build on them as fast as you think. You may be wondering what I mean by that, and what I mean by that is there is a ridiculous amount of hits when you're using the Ash of War waterfowl dance. However, it usually takes till about the middle or the end of the second action, and there's 3 of them, to build up completely on Rottenwing Sword Insignia and Melissen's Prosthesis. Meaning by the third action, essentially, you'll have everything procced by then, but it doesn't really do much for the first one and doesn't really completely max out everything successive attack-wise until towards the end of the second action, to make that clear. Which is ultimately a small downside for a weapon with a really fun Ash of War. Is there better katanas out there? Of course there are. The Nagakiba, the starting katana, double slash sword stance, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do, especially with bleed, that you can get more damage. That being said, this is still a really good Ash of War. It's ultimately one that gets overlooked a lot. I know it's more popular in PvP than it is for PvE. Something else to note about the Hand of Malenia is the fact that it has such ridiculously high AR, even at Rune Level 150 and 70 Dexterity. It's incredible how much damage you can get out of the regular hits for a katana. Yeah, the jump attacks, even everything as far as the regular hits go, it's a good weapon overall. It's definitely a powerful weapon in terms of the regular hits because of the fact that you're getting around, I think, between 650 and 700 AR for a katana, which is fantastic. It does have innate bleed on it, but honestly, it doesn't really proc during the Ash. It doesn't proc during the Ash at all from my experience, and for the regular hits, there's better things for bleed, so don't worry too much about that. That's just a little bit of side bonus that the weapon has, 50 bleed. And unlike Bloodhound's Fang, you can't use Bloodflame Blade, which is a little bit of a disappointment because it would probably make the weapon better, but that being said, it probably wouldn't proc it on the Ash of War anyways. We've taken on the regular enemy here. In a second, we're going to take on the Godskin Apostle and go over the whole build. Overall, is this a weapon I'd recommend? I'd recommend trying this out. If you're running a dexterity build anyway, it's worth a shot. It scales pretty much only with dexterity. It has a B, I believe it maxes out for dexterity, and only an E in strength. So you're going to pump everything into dex if you want to get the most damage out of the Hand of Malenia. Now, you'll see the buffs here on screen, and you can check out what I was using, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, but I will go over the buffs individually after I show the build and stats. Keep in mind, by the way, this is an Ash of War that when you're up in the air, you don't have an infinite amount of hyper armor. It's not like Lion's Claw or even the Black Knife where you have a ridiculous amount of hyper armor. You can get knocked out of it, and the more poise you have, the better off you are, at least being able to pull off all 3. For this video, we have 51 poise, but if you're at an incredibly high level and you can get to the final threshold for poise, which I believe is 101, that'd be great. Let's go over equipment. For equipment, we have the Hand of Malenia plus 10. We're using any seal for buffs. You can check out the armor set there. Ritual Shield or Ritual Sword Talisman if you want to go for more attack. Rottenwing Sword Insignia, Melissen's Prosthesis, Shard of Alexander, Thorny Tier, Faith Tier. Let's talk about stats. And for stats, we optimize this. So we have 60 Vigor, 23 Mind, 25 Endurance. We have 75 Dexterity, 70 before Melissen's Prosthesis. We're getting to 25 Faith with the Faith Tier, so we can use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. Yeah, these are all around good stats. If you want to run the Hand of Malenia, you can get a lot of damage out of it. I would recommend definitely having 60 Vigor and at minimum 51 Poise so you're able to go through the entire Ash of War without being knocked out of it. Let's go over buffs. For our buffs, first thing we're going to do, because it lasts the longest, is drink our tier, which has the Thorny tier in it. And then we're going to use Golden Vow, because it's the second longest acting thing. We're going to fill up our FP, then use Flame Grant Me Strength. And if you have high faith, you can use Hellish Shabriri for 5% more damage. And if you use consumables, you can use Blood Boil for 10% more damage. We're going to go over the entire Ash of War waterfowl dance. You can see there's 3 parts to it and has the potential to do a lot of damage. I hope you guys liked this video overall. I saw a lot of people commenting about it because I haven't covered this weapon in about a year's time. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you like the shorter content, be sure to sub to this channel as well. And if you don't know my main channel, obviously sub to that channel too. You're not going to want to miss out. A lot of the bigger content is on there. But we're going to keep this channel probably between 3 and 8 minute build videos. A lot of smaller stuff, individual builds too, and even build requests. Should be a lot of fun. The main channel is Your Average Gamer, and as always, thanks for watching.